Acala. You're watching The Ledge. The topic of our show today, gender wage inequity in Canada. Have you ever wondered how it is that we in the West claim to want to liberate marginalized women in the developing world? Yet here at home in Canada, women are still fighting the same inequalities they have been fighting for the last 2,000 years. And nowhere is that inequality more pervasive than in our workplaces. In Canada today, women are still being paid 72 cents to a dollar that every man makes for doing the exact same job description. These are some of the questions that we're going to be working on for the show. We hope you can join us. To help us iron out some of these issues, we caught up with expert on the issue of labour in Canada, Professor Marjorie Cohen of Simon Fraser University. Here's what she had to say. Take a look.
And so, does this inequality serve a function in our society, would you say?
You're asking if it serves a function in society, and inequality does on all levels. Whatever kind of inequality we have, it has a function. When you think of employers, it's very convenient for them if they can divide the labor force according to some kind of way and pay some people more, other people less.
And would you say women are undervalued in our society?
You know, for the history of humanity, pretty much, women's labor has been undervalued, and women themselves have been undervalued. Now, this is not to say that all men are valued and all of their labor is valued either, because we not only have gender breakdown in society, we also have class breakdown and racial breakdowns, in which people have experienced discrimination or undervaluing of who they are and what they do, basically because of what kind of niche they fit into that people and employers readily understand.
Now, we just asked, why is our government simply not dedicated to eradicating this injustice? Now, if you'll remember, during the last federal elections, only the NDP party had a wage equity on its platform. And to help us answer some of these issues today, please help me welcome Member of Parliament, New Westminster and Coquitlam, Dawn Black.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks. Ms. Black, wow.
Wow.
This issue is something else, especially when we look at the fact that Canadian women continue to be paid far less than their male counterparts across all ages, across all educational levels. Ms. Black, why is the government not dedicated to this?
Well, we have a government in place in Canada that doesn't believe that there is a problem, first of all, refuses to listen to women's voices and understand that women are in the paid labour force now to stay. It's not a temporary thing. Women are in the paid labour force because they have to be in the paid labour force. There's many women who are heads of families, and it's not a secondary or a job to get the frills or the extras. It's a job to put food on the table and to provide housing for them and their children.
Ms. Black, women's roles have changed so much in the sense that the increase in single-parent households in our community, that is the norm today. And when we think also that women also are the primary caregivers in our society. They look after our future generation, they look after our elderly. Ms. Black, these are enormous responsibilities. Should we not be trying to support them rather than sabotaging them?
Well, of course we should, and it gives me great hope to hear younger voices than mine also picking up this struggle, because I've been involved in this struggle for a long time. I started when my children were little, and now I'm a grandma with 7 grandchildren, and I look at my 5 granddaughters now who are all preschoolers and think, when will it come? When will we be equal partners in society, and when will we, as women, receive the remuneration that we should receive, just as a matter of fairness and the right thing to do.
Now, let's go on the streets of Vancouver to see exactly what the community had to say on this issue. Let's take a look.
When you consider the single parents in the country are mostly women, so we're dealing with issues around child support, women that are having to take care of their children, take care of themselves.
Well, I think it's ridiculous. I think for my generation, a lot of people don't think that there is an inequality between women and men because, you know, we are equals in the education system and in other ways. But once you get into the work field, you really see that, and I felt it myself being in sales. I've experienced it from upper management many times.
Women need to take this issue on themselves. We need the support of the rest of the community to back us up, and we as women workers need to stand up and fight for stronger wages. We need good unions backing us up. Work shouldn't be undervalued. Society needs to view that work as just important. Like I said, it's some of the hardest work in society, raising our children, taking care of our elderly, taking care of the sick, and doing the cleaning and cooking that feeds our communities.
I was a little bit shocked because in Germany it is not like this. And I also will compare it to Russia. And even in Russia it is not like this. Because there the salary is also the same as the women have the same salary as the men. Because if they have the same professional, they can do the same stuff. So for them it's no problem to have the same salary.
We've had already a few waves of feminism. Some people say that we're now in the third wave of feminism, and one of the issues that is vitally important, especially working mothers, I work, I have a young person to take care of. If I'm not on par with a man, I have a lot of responsibility as a person who is taking care of a child, in addition to being the main breadwinner in my family.
Now we're just about to go into our audience to see exactly what our audience feels and what they think about this issue.
Hi, I wanted to ask, with the service industry taking up a growing part of our economy and with so many women working in the service industry, what's the role of service industry unions in impacting the Canadian government and these issues?
It's a very good question, and in terms of promoting women's equality through the union movement, that's been a huge motivator to get these issues addressed around the bargaining table. Most of the unions now, particularly ones that service women workers, have taken pay equity forward in the bargaining process. And that's where some of the real gains have been made. Without the union movement, we would not have made the gains we've made so far. And you gave the statistics earlier about women who are parts of a union, members of a union, how much further they are ahead in the pay equity leap than women who do not have a union to represent them. So it's a huge factor.
After the recent US elections, surprised by the record numbers of young people who came out to vote in that country, the Canadian media began asking, what can we do to make young people interested in politics? Well, it is partly why we also wanted to do this show, to show young Canadians the importance of getting involved in your community, making sure that you know all the decisions that are being made on your behalf. Much change is going on around the world, just really centering on the issues that we've been talking about here today. That we cannot keep creating societies based on exclusion. That we need to begin to move forward and forge ahead on a road to inclusion. Inclusion of all members of our society and not judge them simply based on ascribed attributes such as their genders or their ethnicities or even their sexual orientation. Because until then, we really cannot call ourselves a just and equal society. That's our show. I'd like to thank my guest, Member of Parliament, New Westminster, Dawn Black. I'd like to thank Political Science and Women's Studies Professor Marjorie Cohen for Simon Fraser University. Thank you so much for your contributions. Our guests at home and you, our audience, thank you so much. Hopefully you can join us next time. Please take care of one another. Goodbye.